In Vietnam, a film is being shot based on the book by writer Tay Beck, known by the pseudonym Four-Leaf Clover. He participated in the war, where he lost both arms, and later wrote a book about his experiences. The leading roles are played by famous actors: Oscar winner Kirk, rap star Al Pacino, comedian with addiction Jeff, and a yet unknown actor Kevin. The shooting is underway, and during one scene, due to a misunderstanding among the actors, the explosives expert prematurely triggers a costly explosion, which unfortunately doesn't get captured on camera. This incident immediately reaches the media, and everyone predicts the film's failure. Furious, the producer calls the director Damien and demands that the filming continue at all costs to complete the movie. Damien comes up with an unusual idea to push the actors out of their comfort zones so their performances become more authentic. However, the producer rejects the idea, leaving the problem entirely in Damien's hands. After realizing he can't handle the situation alone, Damien seeks advice from Tay Beck. Eventually, he agrees to the veteran's proposal and begins implementing the plan. The entire cast is taken to the jungle, where Damien explains their mission: to reach the marked spot on the map, all while being filmed by hidden cameras. The actors see this as an opportunity to showcase their skills, especially Tug, who views this as a chance to revive his career. After a brief orientation, the director steps forward and triggers a landmine. Tug, convinced it's part of the act, even picks up the severed head to prove to his colleagues that this is all for the film. However, the others are far less optimistic. Nearby, a group of locals working for a drug lord observes the actors. The bandits start shooting, and the actors return fire, believing it to be part of the script. At that moment, Tay Beck and the explosives expert detonate a charge as planned, which the bandits interpret as an attack, prompting them to retreat. The team ventures into the jungle, but soon realizes they are lost. Tug refuses to acknowledge this and keeps the map to himself, convinced everything is still going as planned. Kirk, on the other hand, begins to have doubts. He persuades one of the actors to take a closer look at the map. Meanwhile, Jeff, oblivious to their plight, pulls out a stash of powder, but his moment of relief is interrupted by a bat that steals it. Meanwhile, Tay Beck and the explosives expert arrive on the scene, assuming that the stugged explosion killed the director. However, their mourning is short-lived as they are attacked by bandits. During the skirmish, it's revealed that Tay Beck never lost his arms in the war, and his book is nothing but fiction. The bandits capture the heroes and bring them to their camp. Simultaneously, Tug leads the team along the wrong route. Kirk insists that Kevin check the map, revealing that they are indeed lost. Disputes arise, causing the team to split up. Tug continues wandering through the jungle alone, still believing it's all part of the script. One night he sets up camp and encounters a panda, which he accidentally kills. Disturbed, he calls his agent Rick to report the incident, but at that moment he's ambushed by bandits. Rick interprets Tug's silence as his decision to fire him as his agent. Rick heads to the producer's office, determined to settle some issues and ensure his client's satisfaction. He bursts into Les's office, demanding all the writer's clauses be fulfilled. Meanwhile, Tug is brought to a village ruled by a young boy. The bandits torture him, and it's at this moment that he begins to understand that none of this is part of the script, it's all real. After a few blows, Tug begs for mercy, using the voice of his character from a previous film. Strangely enough, this saves him, as the locals had watched that movie many times and loved it. It turns out the local villagers had watched that movie countless times and loved it. Now, Tug has two options. Either he performs the role of Simple Jack for the entire village, or he is executed. Meanwhile, the other actors wander through the jungle. Jeff's addiction spirals out of control. Due to the bat that stole his stash, he can no longer move on his own. The team doesn't know what to do with him, but they get lucky and find a bull, which they use as transportation. Eventually, they spot the village where Tug is being held and decide to rescue their friend at all costs. At the same time, Tug is forced to agree to the boy's terms. However, the village leader has no intention of letting him go easily. He decides to demand a ransom, reasoning that Tug is a famous actor and a few dozen $1 million is a fair price for his life. They call Tug's agent, Rick, who is currently in Les's office, trying to enforce Tug's rider. Les, however, refuses to pay such a sum, telling the kidnappers they can go ahead and kill the host Tug. After the call, Les explains his reasoning to Rick. Tug hasn't been a top-tier actor for a long time and isn't worth the money. Moreover, the insurance payout would be greater than the profits the film would make with Tug in it. Meanwhile, Kirk and the team devise a rescue plan. They decide to use a diversion. Kirk disguises himself as a local farmer and heads to the village with Jeff as bait. This is meant to give Al Pacino and Kevin the chance to sneak into the hut where Tug is being held. At first, everything goes according to plan, but Kirk's carelessness alerts the boy that he's being deceived. A gunfight ensues. Al Pacino manages to get inside, but finds the explosives expert and Tay Beck instead of Tug. He frees them while the battle outside grows more intense. Unexpectedly, Jeff, rather than saving his life and the team's, grabs the boy and takes him away. Kirk and Kevin find Tug, but he's acting strangely, as if he's forgotten who he truly is. Kirk also starts losing his grip on reality, and only Kevin manages to keep his composure and tries to calm them both down. Meanwhile, Al Pacino can no longer hold back the enemies. Fortunately, the freed explosives expert sets off a charge, destroying one of the towers, which gives the team a chance to escape. They rig the bridge the pursuers must cross and head for the helicopter. At the last moment, however, Tug decides to stay behind. He believes he's established a special bond with the locals and can negotiate with them. Kirk doesn't support this idea, but has no choice but to comply. However, within 5 minutes, the team sees Tug running toward the helicopter with the armed boy on his back. His hopes were misplaced, and the bandits have started their pursuit. Tug runs across the mined bridge with an entire army of enemies chasing him. Tay Beck jumps out of the helicopter and detonates the explosives, destroying the bridge. Everyone assumes Tug has died, but moments later they spot him alive. Kirk rushes to help Tug, just as the original script intended. However, this time it's for real. Tug delivers a heartfelt speech and even sheds a tear. His friend helps him reach the helicopter, but the bandits aren't dead. What's more, the boy is determined to destroy them all and aims a rocket launcher at the helicopter. The team is certain they are about to die, but at that moment, they are all stunned by the unexpected arrival of Rick. It turns out Rick had refused the director's offer of a large sum in exchange for Tug's life and had come here specifically to deliver the digital camcorder Tug had requested. At the critical moment, Rick throws the device into the air and the rocket hits it instead. Time passes. Using footage captured by the hidden cameras, they edit the film. For the first time, Tug is nominated and wins the long-awaited award. The film becomes a success, and everyone, including the director, ends up in the big leagues.